90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. Star Gino Palazzolo quit his job because of Jasmine Pineda, but she was the one who wasn't happy with his decision. Gino from Canton, Michigan met Jasmine Pineda online in 2019 and thus began their roller coaster relationship. Gino and Jasmine didn't tell fans that they'd met on a sugar baby website. When the truth was revealed, it explained why Jasmine kept demanding things from Gino, such as fancy vacations and rent money. Jasmine became particularly upset with Gino when she learned he quit his job. It affected her future plans, such as her participation in a beauty pageant. Gino refused to pay her fees. She also found it frustrating that she had to rely on Gino for everything. She claimed Gino had not even provided her with a credit card, so she could buy basic things like tampons for herself. Jasmine believed that Gino was trying to control her and make her submissive. It all boiled down to Gino not having a job to provide Jasmine with the lifestyle she craved. According to his LinkedIn profile, Gino has a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Oakland University. Gino started working back in September 1993 and has held multiple positions in the past. He was a product design and release engineer at Ford for 3.5 years, at Visteon for 2 years, at Chrysler for 4 years, and a dimensional management project engineer at GM for 2 years. In the past few years, Gino has worked for GE Appliances as a product development engineer at GE Appliances and Yanfeng Automotive Interiors as a senior product development engineer. Before Jasmine, Gino was married to a woman named Denise. Gino and Denise were married for 7 years. He had met her in Brazil. Gino's ex-wife was from Sao Paulo. He worked in Brazil for 6 months as an engineer. Gino and his ex were very much in love and wanted to be together, so he brought her to the U.S. on a K-1 visa. However, they lost the spark in their relationship after 7 years of marriage and mutually agreed to get a divorce. In February 2024, Jasmine revealed that Gino's ex-wife recently got married again in America. Going through divorce was very difficult for Gino. He was worried about whether he was ever going to find a person with whom he could start a family. Amid his personal issues, Gino also suffered a major professional setback. Gino was laid off from his job because of the pandemic. Gino worked at Ford Motor Company from May 2019 to May 2020 for a little over a year. He had already met Jasmine when he was let go from his job. However, that didn't stop Jasmine from asking Gino to spend on her. Gino's family was concerned about him going to Panama to meet Jasmine. While Uncle Marco is on Jasmine's side now, he thought Gino was being scammed, and someone was going to take his card and all his money in Panama, so he would wake up in a hotel room with a roof eye. Jasmine was getting money from Gino even when he wasn't working. He had been smart with his savings and was able to send money to help Jasmine out. Gino helped Jasmine with money for her lips, her eyebrows, her hair, her teeth, and her facial treatments. He'd assured his uncle that Jasmine was not a materialistic person. However, this all tells a story. Gino had an additional income as he had a lot of investments. Gino buys and sells his own stock, and his value hit $650,000 when he filmed before the 90 Days Season 5. However, that was the money that Gino had saved for his retirement. He didn't want to touch any of it. Still, it was the money that Gino had to dig into when he offered to pay Jasmine to help her with her apartment rent. Jasmine and Gino had to wait for 18 months for her K-1 visa to be approved, and it's likely he kept paying for it. It was revealed during the 90-Day Fiancé. Before the 90-Day Season 6 premiere that Gino was back to being employed. Gino was going to see Jasmine in Panama ahead of her K-1 visa interview, and he was also juggling a full-time job as an automotive engineer. Gino admitted that being employed had helped him be able to support Jasmine a little bit more. However, Jasmine got upset with Gino because he couldn't talk to her as much when he was busy with work. He could talk to her throughout the entire day when he wasn't working. Kesar Garcia. Gino was filmed on the last day of his job for the premiere episode of 90 DS Season 10. He spoke about having worked in automotive engineering for over 30 years. Gino told his boss he needed to take a leave of absence from his work for a while, and that he was not planning to come back for possibly a year-ish or so. Gino wanted to make Jasmine a priority and to ensure she could get on her feet in Michigan. He was worried that if Jasmine didn't adapt to her life in the U.S., she would go back to Panama. The pageant organizers informed Jasmine that Gino hadn't paid her participation fees. When she confronted him, Gino told her it was a lot of money. He informed her that Jasmine's immigration cost, which was her permanent resident status, had skyrocketed, so they had to pay for that first as it was their top priority. Jasmine asked Gino to go back to work, but he insisted he left the job because she was coming to the United States for the first time. Jasmine asked Gino not to use her as an excuse. Jasmine accused Gino of taking naps and using the computer the whole day. She revealed that all Gino did was play fantasy football. She told the cameras she wanted to be married to a provider and not to a jobless man. Jasmine told Gino to go back to work, where he could be making thousands and thousands and thousands instead of being at home. Gino realized he was now feeling comfortable going back to work as Jasmine had started getting on her feet. Jasmine thought Gino wanted her to beg for money. Jasmine's piercing words seemed to have hurt Gino. He eventually ended up paying Jasmine's beauty pageant fees, as advised by his uncle Marco. His LinkedIn reveals Gino also went back to his job, but he hasn't mentioned how long his break lasted. Gino was employed at Faurecia as a product development engineer in June 2021, which may have been when he filmed before the 90 Days Season 6. His profile confirms he is still working at the Auburn Hills, Michigan-based company. The 90-Day Fiancé. Happily ever after.